Hey guys, it has been so long. I know how I look. I look like I've been sick for 3 weeks, which I have. Today I'm feeling the best I've felt in a very long time, probably since finding out I was pregnant. I'm just taking it day by day, and I'm going with the good feeling day. So I decided to sit down. Zeg has gone in for a nap. The house is quiet. I wanted to sit down and finally film a video. In this video, I want to share with you guys telling the kids and telling a couple of my friends. I never filmed any other reactions just because it really feels weird to film people's reactions and to film people when you're telling them news, especially if it's spontaneous. But I did manage to capture telling a couple of my friends when they came over for a visit, and that was really special. So I will post that. I have their permission to share that video, so I will add that to us telling the kids. Grayson's reaction is hilarious, and I won't say much except for I have to preface it with, it's so funny because his sweet little 9-year-old heart thought that me being pregnant meant like the baby was gonna come soon. And so he was like panicking a little bit, and it was funny. And then he realized, oh, it takes like 9 months to grow a baby. Okay, we got a while. It was hilarious because he was like, we can't handle 2 babies. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I thought I would sit down and film this. I don't know when this is gonna go out. I should probably put the Christmas video up first. So maybe you'll see this in a few days, or later next week. Which if that's the case, make sure you're following me on Instagram because I'm posting updates sometimes on my stories and stuff. It's just a little bit easier for me. Obviously, like, I've been super sick. If you don't know, I have HG through my pregnancies, which is just super severe morning sickness. I've actually made the decision to go on medication this time, and it has made a world of a difference. But just briefly talk about this because, like, it's so hard for me in the first trimester. I'm grateful, of course, but it's so hard. To have HG is like having the stomach flu for 2 months, and it is the worst thing in the world. Like, I will deliver a baby a million times over a first trimester. Like, puking 10 plus times a day is honestly torture, and I honestly have, like, I feel like I have a phobia of vomiting now from my pregnancies. Is really mentally hard for me. So with having Zeg, and I'm still nursing him, I decided to go on medication this time. I've never gone on medication because you guys know I'm a really crunchy girl. I don't like to take anything. I struggle to even take an ibuprofen if I have a migraine. Like, I don't take stuff. I tried every natural thing in the book. I even made a protocol for morning sickness this time, and nothing touched it. It just, like, it was already so bad. I started morning sickness at like 5 weeks pregnant this time. So I've been sick for weeks and it has not been fun. And so then we got COVID, and I got it first, or came down with symptoms first, I guess, and didn't realize it because I just started throwing up extra and thought, oh, I'm just like super sick. And so that day I called in a prescription for medication, and I was like, because I can't take care of Zeg if I'm this sick. So I called in the prescription, realized that we had an illness, didn't take the meds, and then once we recovered from the illness, I realized that I was still, like, morning sickness was still like very much present. And then it really kind of ramped up, and so I started taking the medication, and the medication worked for me really well. So I'm really grateful. It stopped me from throwing up. I'm still nauseous, and I still have to take things so slow, but I'm able to eat. Like, that's the problem, is I lose too much weight in the first trimester, and I can't nourish my body properly. So that has kind of solved that issue, and I've still lost weight, but I've only lost like 8 pounds instead of like 15 or 20 in the first trimester, so that's a big deal for me. So we're doing better. I just want to touch on that because, like, not to complain or anything, but just to give some realization. Like, people who have HG and who suffer really badly in the first trimester, like, people go, oh yeah, you should just drink some ginger tea. just try sucking on some peppermints. Like, they have no idea what HG is like, and I feel like people with HG really suffer in silence, and it can be a really dark time, and it can be really hard. So I just want to like acknowledge that and spend a couple minutes talking about it, because I think it's really important that we normalize it, so that when your friends, family, sisters are pregnant, and if they suffer from HG in their first trimester, or maybe through their whole pregnancy, I'm so grateful that it only lasts the first trimester for me. I'm so lucky. But it's important that people around them know that it's not just typical morning sickness, and they can't function, and it's not something you can just like carry on life with and resume life. So anyway, I'm breastfeeding Zeg still, and in order to keep my milk supply, it was like meds and nourish my baby and also be able to breastfeed Zeg, or potentially lose my milk supply and not be able to nourish the baby I'm growing and just be a mess. And so the medication was the obvious answer, and I'm really grateful that it works. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that because I did want to answer some questions. I asked you guys on Instagram. Sorry, this is very chatty and I should have started with this, but this is just what you get. I'm all over the place. I thought it would be fun to share some, like do a little Q&A, and then I will share reactions from telling the kids I was pregnant and my friends that I was pregnant afterwards. So I'm gonna just answer couple of the most common questions, not very many. I'm just gonna answer a few, and then yeah, I figured this would be a good little sit down, easy for me to film. I had a lot of questions in my DMs, were just like a lot of repeat questions, so I thought I would try and like nail down the most asked ones. So I've just taken some of the most common ones from Instagram, and I'll answer them here while I drink some tea. And that's another reason, definitely follow me on Instagram. I'm just Rainbow Miller on there if you have Instagram and you're not following me, just because I do like Q&As and stuff like that on there a lot. So if you want to keep up with things, or if I'm kind of falling off the face of the earth, I'm more likely to post in my stories or something. Okay, so the biggest question, I got this a lot, maybe not the biggest, but a really big one. Am I still breastfeeding? And am I going to breastfeed throughout pregnancy? Am I breastfeeding Zeg? Am I going to continue breastfeeding? And how do I get enough nutrients for breastfeeding and supporting a growing baby, and then also a growing baby? So the answer to that is yes, I'm going to continue breastfeeding Zagreus. So he's only 10 months old. I've always let my babies self-wean. So I nursed Mackenzie until about 2.5 and Grayson until about 2.5 as well. So the plan, I don't have a plan. I'm letting it be what it is. He's obviously not ready to wean, and I have no plans to wean him. I'm hoping I can maintain my milk supply. And that was a really big, another reason I explained about the morning sickness and taking medication, was because that was a big factor in deciding, because I wouldn't have been able to keep my milk supply and get the nutrients I need if I'm not able to eat or drink. Like, hydration is a big issue for me in the first trimester. So the plan is to, yes, continue breastfeeding throughout my pregnancy, unless Zeg weans himself throughout my pregnancy before a baby is born. I plan to just nurse him through, and then possibly tandem if that feels good, which means feed both of them at the same time when this little baby arrives. So that is the plan. Nutrient wise, you guys know I'm a big pro-metabolic eater. I'm really big in ancestral foods and nutrition. So I really wanted these babies to be spaced out like as naturally as possible. That was another question I did get, was like, most of the questions I was surprised were about breastfeeding, but there was a couple questions sprinkled in there too about like child spacing, and was this planned, and how close are they gonna be? So for me, I really believe that like I used to be really, really adamant on like child spacing this far apart, blah, blah, blah. And I don't really agree with that anymore. I think just go with nature. And if you are a well-nourished woman, then you will be able to support your babies. You're more likely to conceive in a healthy body anyway. Yeah, I just like don't feel the same that I used to about child spacing. And with our situation, having a vasectomy reversal that almost failed, we really didn't even know if this baby was going to be possible. So preventing anything or delaying anything was just not an option for us, because we needed to take any and all opportunities to be able to even have this baby. So yeah, a lot of people were like, was the close age gaps intentional? Yeah, I did hope that we would have a closer age gap. So my oldest two are 3 years and 4 months apart, and then there's an almost 9-year age gap between Grayson and Zag. And then I really wanted to experience a closer age gap, like 2 under 2. But obviously I didn't know if that was possible. So basically as soon as I got my cycle back at 5 months postpartum, we didn't really try that first time, but we just kind of were not trying, not preventing. And surprisingly, we got pregnant on my 3rd cycle. They were super far apart. The reason I'm talking about this a little bit too is because I'm kind of just like answering questions as I go here as I talk. That was something somebody asked, and I'll talk about this in a second, was like, how did I get pregnant even though my cycles were all over the place? But I feel like I need to go back to the breastfeeding thing because I didn't fully finish answering that. So yeah, if he decides to wean, then I will let him wean on his own, but I can't see that happening unless I really like dry up and he's not interested in dry nursing, and until like my new milk comes in, or if the taste changes or something, like, but I'm not married to a plan. Like, I know tandem nursing is going to be really demanding, but I'm okay with that. And with the child spacing and with like, oh, like, how are you going to be able to, there's a lot of demand and stress on your body, but you have to understand too that I spent years, literal years, preparing my body, my nutrient stores, like doing this to prepare to start having babies again. So I was in a really, really wonderfully healthy place. I followed something called the brewer's diet when I'm pregnant. And I also followed it, I just continued. I followed it while I was trying to conceive, and while I was pregnant, and then I continued because I was breastfeeding, because I followed the brewer's diet when I'm breastfeeding as well. So obviously in my first trimester, things kind of go downhill. My only real goal in my first trimester is to try and eat enough calories, which doesn't happen because I aim for about 3,000 calories a day. And I can't get that when I'm in my first trimester and feeling awful. So I just try to eat whatever I can. And the nutrient stores that I have built up over the past few years, I know are there. And both babies will take what they need. And if genuinely you don't have enough nutrients, your body will like dry up your milk, or, you know, like your body protects itself. But so far so good. And yeah, that kind of answers that question. I'm not worried about the nutrition and stuff because I make sure that I accommodate that in calories and in nutrient dense foods and supplements. So it's something I never stopped doing the nutrient dense diet for pregnancy since I was trying to conceive. So I did it for like a year and a half before I even got pregnant and with Zagreus, and then all through my pregnancy, and then all since he has been born. And I just continued that. So my body was really well prepared. Obviously, my body felt like it was safe to get pregnant, and so it did. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I know that obviously, like, I made sure I had some fat reserves on me because I knew I was gonna lose weight in the first trimester. Like, just knowing your body is really important, and understanding how it works, and how like nutrient stores get depleted, and how to like restore your minerals and stuff. All of that is really important to understand, and it's not gonna be perfect, and this isn't perfect. What do you do with HG, right? Like, you can only do so much. So I really don't worry about it too much until my second trimester. I try and keep up with my supplements, and I think they really like hold me. And then yeah, that's the plan with that, with the breastfeeding, and I'm not worried long term about depletions. I think I've said all I need to say on that for now. If you have any questions, if this sparks any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments down below. Okay, so that kind of answers lots of questions about the age gap and if that was intentional. I think some people are like, this is the thing, so I don't think I've mentioned that yet in this video. Some people are like, oh my gosh, like, I found out I was pregnant when Zag was 9 months. And yeah, that seems really close, but that's actually 18 months apart. They're going to be a year and a half apart. And so it's not like that close. It's not like they're Irish twins or anything. It's a year and a half. It's like average age gap, I think, nowadays. So it is closer for me. It will be 2 under 2, and I'm really excited to go through that and experience that. But yeah, it's not like they're like crazy close. So I just want to clear that up, because I feel like the amount of comments I got from like the distance, or like me being pregnant already or whatever, like I think sometimes it just seems like maybe they're going to be a lot closer than they are. Like, lots of questions about, do I know if it's a boy or girl, how far along I am, what am I going to be, like, are we finding out, do I already know? So this is a big thing, and I think this question mostly comes, maybe I'm wrong, but I think this question comes a lot from my American friends and viewers out there. Okay, the baby just woke up, and Mackenzie's gonna grab him for me so I can finish this really quick. Yeah, so I think this mostly comes from American viewers, because I think it works differently in the States to like a lot of other parts of the world. I don't know if it's like this in like Australia or the UK, but in Canada, you can't find out that early. Like, you can do sneak peek here now, which I'm not interested in doing, because it's like wrong. The percentage of it being wrong is too, like, it's not worth the money for me. I can just wait and be patient. So there's that test you can do, the genetic testing at like 12 weeks or whatever. I don't do that. I opt out of a lot of stuff through pregnancy that are standard. But I think in America you can actually find out the gender at that by getting that test done, and it's actually not an option here in Canada. Like, you can get that test done, but there's no gender included. They will not tell you, which I think is weird, but like, yeah, so there's no option to like confirm the gender that early here. You have to wait until your anatomy scan to have it like confirmed, and that's if baby cooperates. So we will be finding out the gender this time, and you know what the baby is, but we won't know until you know, that like 20-week-ish mark. So I think that's like February-ish, and I will announce it somehow. We'll find like some non-dramatic way to tell you guys. But yeah, we will find out. We're planning to find out. We found out with all of our kids. Cody could never not, and honestly, it's just easier to plan like for clothes and stuff, because we've never had a baby in the summer before. And if it's a girl, obviously we have all the baby gear now, but we have no girl stuff. So yeah, we will be finding out. We're not surprised gender people. But yeah, it's just not something we can find out early, so we'll just have to wait. And then, so that's the other thing. So yeah, they'll be 18 months apart. We don't know the gender yet. And a lot of people are like, how far along are you? Like, when's your due date? I'm not going to be sharing my due date this time. I have decided that even before I was pregnant. I decided, honestly, I was toying with the idea of maybe not telling anybody for a while. But then that didn't really feel authentic to me, so I changed my mind. But I've decided not to tell anybody my due date, because it's a guess anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm, yes, having another home birth. I will know the guess just for gestation wise, to have a ballpark of where I'm at. But I will not be sharing that information. So baby is expected anytime from mid-June to mid-July. That's all I'm gonna say. We're having a summer baby, really excited. Yeah, I'm giving myself a very wide berth there to expect the baby to arrive. I've never gone early before. I've never had a baby before 40 weeks. So there's a very wide range there. I don't expect to have a baby before 40 weeks this time. And the other reason is just there was too much pressure on me last time, and you know, the times before, where people knew when my guest date was, and honestly, people bugged me way too much last time, and it really took a toll on me mentally, and it really bothered me. Like, people who didn't check in through my entire pregnancy would suddenly be texting me because they knew it was my due date coming up, or my due date had passed, and it was like constant calls, texts, comments, DMs. Mostly it was texts from people I know and like family members and stuff, and it was too much. And it really, really disturbed my like birth peace and my birth bubble. And so I'm just going to avoid that altogether. And I've told everybody, like, sorry, you're not getting that information. And I don't feel bad about it. Hold those boundaries. So that's a boundary I'm keeping this time. That's all I'm saying is the baby will be between mid-June and mid-July. We will have a baby, and we're really excited about that. I am not sharing right now. Like, I haven't shared how far along I am. I'm in my first trimester still. And like, I kind of will, but I will do bump dates. I'm going to be sharing on Instagram. But I always like share a little bit off. So I'm just gonna stay a little bit mysterious about that. I'm not, and not for any reason. It's not for attention or anything. It's just because I don't need people knowing when my guest date is. And I just like, it just doesn't matter how far along I am at the moment or like exactly this. I'm still in my first trimester. I've opted to get a scan to date me properly. I do know how far along I am, but just in case, because my cycles were so long. I actually have a scan next week, so by the time you're seeing this video, I've probably already seen baby, which is really exciting. And then I will share photos of like how far along I am, but don't expect those photos to be incredibly accurate, is all I'm saying, or the videos to be like totally up to date, because oftentimes I will film like weeks in advance or like at least a week and post. So I'm sure if you did enough sleuthing, you could probably guess pretty close to my guest date eventually through the pregnancy, but like whatever, it's just not information I'm freely giving up. It's for no reason other than to protect my own peace so people don't bug the crap out of me. Okay, so I need to wrap this up because it's getting long and you guys are excited to see the reactions, and my baby needs me upstairs. So I'll just like pick a couple. Well, okay, so like I think I already talked about like, did I do anything special in preparation regarding food and minerals? Yeah, like being well nourished is really, really important. And again, I just never stopped my like protocols of nourishment. And so I'm feeling confident in my body's ability to healthily and happily carry this baby and breastfeed Zag. And another question that I said I promised to talk about this was, did I do anything special? This one is, did you do anything special on nursing, but my LP is just too short to conceive due to nursing. So this is my issue too. LP stands for luteal phase or luteal phase, or however you want to say it. And it's basically the time between when you ovulate and when you get your first period. So I actually only had 3 cycles between when I got my period back in May and October, when I found out I was pregnant. So, yeah, I got pregnant on my 3rd cycle. So my issue was my cycles were super crazy long, which I'd never experienced before. They were like 52 days, like crazy long. And my luteal phase was way too short. Like I think the first one was like 3 days between ovulation and my period. And you can't get pregnant when it's that short. So after I waited another time and I noticed it was a little bit longer, but it was like 6 days, still too short. So I took supplements to help lengthen my luteal phase, and that is when I got pregnant. So it worked for me. And what I did was I made sure I was taking a higher dose of vitamin C, because that helps, along with all my other supplements, which I shared my supplements in a few vlogs back. If you want to, I think it's in the title or something about my supplements. If you want to know, then you can go look at that. So I increased my vitamin C dose, and I started taking 100 milligrams of B6, vitamin B6, after ovulation. Like as soon as I ovulated, I started taking B6, and that helps build progesterone and helps lengthen the luteal phase, and that is what helped me, and it worked because I got pregnant. So yeah, I would definitely recommend just focusing on nutrition a lot and nourishing your body really well, and then like those two together is what I think really helped support my body. But then you can see what I normally take too in that vitamin video. Anyway, okay, that's where I'm gonna stop. If you guys have any more questions, please put them down below. I'm happy to answer any, or like I'll save them for the next video or something and just do a little bit more of a Q&A and a vlog style. But here, enjoy us telling the kids and me telling my friends that I am pregnant. This was really exciting and I'm happy to share this. Hopefully this video isn't too long for you, or you can just skip around to where you want to watch. But hopefully this was informative and interesting or whatever, and answers the questions you guys had. And I hope I don't come off weird being like, I'm not sharing my due date. It's just a boundary I'm holding this time. Like, I hope everybody understands that. It's not personal. It's not to be dramatic. It's just literally because I've learned my lesson and I'm not doing that again, because my peace is so important to me. And especially when I'm pregnant and, you know, when you're in that really sensitive time at the end of pregnancy, when you're getting ready to go into labor, it's just such a delicate time. And I've really learned to like hold really strong boundaries around that now. And yeah, it served me really well last time. It's the one thing I was like, I need to do this differently next time. So here we are. And then of course the big questions like, are you sure this is the last baby? Yes, I'm sure. Like, we're done after 4 is enough babies for us. We're really happy to have like kind of our bookend babies, like our 2 and our 2. The older kids, like the bigs and the littles. Really excited. So anyway, enjoy the rest of the video and I will see you all next time. Bye guys. Dad and I have a magic trick to show you. Sit on the couch, Dad. I have a magic trick to show you.
I don't feel comfortable.
Why?
Do you want? Okay.
This is hilarious. We've got to show you. Magic trick. You've been really into magic lately. You're gonna have to close your eyes.
Okay.
Do you trust me?
Yes. No.
Okay. Come here. Hold on. Carly. Don't need to be barking out there. Close your eyes and face that way.
Which way?
Close your eyes.
This way. This way?
Close your eyes.
Okay.
Hold out your hand. Don't peek. No. Like cut. Like you're gonna get something.
Okay. No.
Don't peek. Okay. Ready? I'm gonna put something in your hand.
Don't look yet.
Don't look yet. Close your hand. Close your hand. Ready? Gotta do a little bit of magic trick stuff. Okay. Now open your eyes. Open your hand.
Yeah. What is this?
Okay. Do you see that?
Don't eat it.
So that's how big the new baby is.
I knew it! Wait, what? Action!
You knew it? How did you know? I knew on your face. You knew. How long have you known?
I just guessed. Really?
Yes.
Grayson's like, why do you do this to me? Same, buddy, same.
Why now? Of any time, why
Why now?
now? I'll be happy when he's 1 year old.
No, honey, the baby's not gonna come now. That sprinkles how big the baby is.
I cracked
9 months to grow a baby.
Oh, it is.
So yeah, there's still a lot of time.
Oh, the baby is
Crack.
growing.
And that was a sprinkle.
Listen, the
I just
baby
ate the
the
baby.
baby will be born like.
I honestly don't know
I
how
don't know. I just have a feeling.
Wait,
What do you think?
Yeah. I don't. That's weird. I don't know what to think about
What
it.
do you think?
You're not allowed to. I think, and that baby was very delicious.
Are you happy?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's
Are you
fine.
nervous?
Fine.
Oh, big
Grayson,
hug.
Grayson's
Grayson.
there.
Okay, no group hug for Grayson. Thanks, good
Oh,
job.
oh,
Her face. I had to tell you because I keep almost telling you guys. Zay will be 1.5 years.
What?
Do you think? Do you see him?
I know. He's like not having a good time.
No.
Love you, bud.
Like that.
Love you, bud. Let's go.
And get the roof on my face.
Hey, bye.
Are you happy? It looked like you were really upset about it.
No, I was just.
You thought the
Why?
baby was coming soon?
No, I thought it was coming in like 2 years.
No. Oh.
I actually thought it was coming in like a year.
Yeah. Well,
When he was when he's
he will be
born.
1.5. He will be 1. He'll be almost. He'll be 1.5.
I knew
It's not now.
When you made us sit down.
Well,
What I mean?
It's true.
But I knew when I was ready. Like, I just feel like you know when you're like,
You do.
you know when your babies are calling.
You know when you have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, we'll be in for it because ours are going to be 18 months apart.
No way.
Oh my God! Stop.
Rainbow!
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Smile.
Are you gonna be a big brother? Oh my twins are so much older, it'll be okay. I'm like, they're gonna be two little buddies. Those are like little twins almost.
Yeah.
Oh my god, how far apart are you? Did you just find out?
Yeah, I'm only like 4 weeks and a few days. So like, I found out early last, like, yeah.
So excited.
So when you were like, I was like, oh. I had a bad day yesterday, bad morning yesterday.
Yeah.
When I can't, like, coming to homeschool meetup, I was like, oh god. But then I got there and the fresh air hit me and I was like, okay, good.
Oh my god.
It was so hard not to blurt it into your face yesterday. I was like, I need to wait until Saturday.
Oh my god.
And then we went to a wedding and I was like, come back.
Come back to me. Oh my god.
And then you sent me some TikTok about fourth babies and I was like, Cody, you didn't send me
Yeah, I sent you that thing that 3 to 4 is like perfect. That's so awesome.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
I'm so excited for you.
And I'm so glad you didn't have to wait too